All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome back for another episode of Something for the Culture. I am your host, Jazzy J. And tonight we got Mr. General fucking Steele in the building from Smith and fucking Wesson. How you doing?
Wagwan, Wagwan. What's up, beautiful? I'm
What's going on? First of all, thank you for blessing the culture platform with your presence, first and foremost.
Word. Give thanks for the culture for having me, put me on a timeline.
Cool, cool, cool. So, look, I want you to introduce yourself to people who are not familiar with your work and who you are.
I'll be the General Steele, one half of Smif-N-Wessun, uh, 1/8 of the Worldwide Boot Camp Clique. Boot Camp. You know what I'm saying? Been out for about a decade, 2 decades and a half. You know what I'm saying? First album was The Shining, my PNC. We got a long history. We've been on about like dozens, thousands of world tours, been across the world and I. 7 albums with Smif-N-Wessun, about 4, 5 albums with the Boot Camp Clique, a few solo albums, several guest appearances and all of that. It's been a historic journey, to say the least, you know what I'm saying? And we still rocking, baby.
I know that's
Thanks to
right.
the people, you know what I'm saying? Give thanks to the people because that's important. When the people say you're done, son. You're done.
Period.
Word.
So I wanna. How did you get your start in music? Like, how did Smith and Wesson come on about?
Smif-N-Wessun was birthed. I would say Smif-N-Wessun was birthed like in high school. Me and my partner Tech, we were just buddies, you know what I'm saying? Running around with cons. And big up to my PNC, Cookie Head, and Rambo, rest in peace. That's the best style crew. You know what I mean? That's where all that PNC stuff come from. We used to call ourselves Perfect Men, right? And that was like on some kind of like inspired by the gang a little bit because the Deceps is known for being savages.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we was part of that crew at a young age, and one division of Deceps, and we was Power Masters. So we took the P and the M and Power Masters and coined ourselves as Perfect Men. And basically it meant that we could fight, you know what I'm saying? We smart and like, we got knowledge of self. So that was the perfection for us. And then that later became like PNC later on. So when you listen to the Shine, then you hear PNC, and we talk about Rambo, rest in peace, Sean Grady. Like, I wouldn't know Tech if it wasn't for those two brothers. That's a fact. Without those two brothers, it would not be no Smif-N-Wessun. Prior to that, I was a solo artist, dibbling and dabbling. My first initial introduction to the game came through a brother named Chase from Brownsville, Chauncey Avenue, and he was my first partner in high school. You know what I'm saying? He was way better than me. Like, I was just like learning the ropes. You know what I'm saying? He was like Coogee rap to me. I'm like, wow. But it was the funny thing is that we kind of resemble. We both got these beautiful big honkers. You know what I mean? And we went by the Dynasty family. So when that broke off, Chase went a separate way. Tech more or less became my road dog on the rap vibe. Initially, he wasn't even with rapping, and then he just got bit by the bug. You know what I'm saying? I wrote him a little verse, and he took it from there. And I think we just had a conversation one day. It was like, yo, we should be Smif-N-Wessun because that name represented like a union between one and two. So I'm like, that's a dope name for a group. But that's me and you. I felt like we was already Smif-N-Wessun.
Right.
We just had to like get our rap game together, and we started honing the craft. We started getting into it. We met Buckshot through a friend of mine, his sister actually, Tracy. Big up Tracy. We went to night school together, and she introduced me to him. because she was a dancer at the time. For me, she was dancing for me. That's when having dancers was cool. You know what I mean? You try to get your whole group together, and on some real shit, like Tech wasn't rhyming yet. He was just like, not even, I won't say hype man. He was just, because I was rhyming, he was just rolling. We were just rolling like that.
Right.
And I had a show at the Apollo Theater in Harlem, and Tracy introduced me to her brother at the time, Kenyatta. He wasn't even Buckshot yet.
Oh wow.
Kenyatta and Kenyatta's partner, Kasim, who's 5F, who later became 5FT. They was dancers. And they was, no disrespect to my sis, I love you, sis, but they was way better than her. You know what I'm saying? But because she was a girl, it made my show look dope. So I had 3 female dancers, right? And I was doing it up. I was like, yo, hip hop fiend. Like I had 3 female dancers, and then she introduced me to her brother, Kenyatta, and his partner at the time, who was like, they was the guys who was doing all that jumping around and kicking and grabbing each other and crazy stuff. So I had invited them to the show. They performed, opened up for me, opened up my set, and made me look like an amazing star. You know, when you go to the Apollo, you got to do it big.
Right.
I had the ball jacket on. I had the tape on. But I had a bald head. You know what I'm saying? None of this. That wasn't even.
None of the dreads.
None of that. You know, so that was like, that was the preamble to what would later become Smif-N-Wessun. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. So, as you growing up, who were some of your influences that you looked up that kind of inspired you to, hey, I want to be in this. Like, I want to be a part of this?
Well, the interesting thing about hip hop, like hip hop exploded in the 80s. And I promise you, man, I had no idea. I wasn't thinking about being into rap at all. Rap is very intimidating, you know. And when it exploded onto the scene, I felt like, I grew up with it. And all of the guys that was on there, all the females that was there, I listened to all that stuff. You know what I mean? It ain't like today where you're like, yo, you hate on somebody, or you don't understand where they coming from with it. And you're like, nah, I don't mess with that. I'll mess with this. Like, I listen to everything.
Right.
I listen to everything. Big up to all of the radio disc jockeys that kept spinning that music and kept the culture alive. I followed that. I was a young kid. My nose was wide open. You know what I mean? So I listen to everybody, man, from KRS-One. These are my top guys, like KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Kool G Rap, LL Cool J, Chuck D, P.E. I even go back, Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel, Kumo D. I listen to everything I can get my hands on.
So give me your top 3. Narrow down to your personal top 3.
Tupac, Biggie, and Chuck D.
Okay. Why those 3?
Well, Tupac is a son of a Black Panther. You know, so he was born a warrior. Right. You know, and he was born with that mission embedded in him already to empower himself to power the people. His uncles is Black Panthers, his mama's a Black Panther, his cousins are Black Panthers, and that's always the Black Panther story has always intrigued me. It's a sad tale, but it's very real. Ain't no conspiracy theories about that. That really happened and exists. A salute to my people out in Oakland that's still banging that BPP, the new Black Panther, and also to the chairman, Fred Hampton Jr. that's out there trying to do big things in Chicago, and Biggie, because Biggie is Brooklyn, you know, all day Brooklyn, and he rep Brooklyn so hard. You know, it's a gang of others, but you said top 3, and that right off the top, that's like bow, bow, bow. Like that's a given. And Chuck D, because he always represented that militant style. He was like a militant gangster, you know, with the S1Ws, and then he had his man Flavor Flav. So he was hip, but he was serious, and he was giving you jewels. You know what I mean? He was teaching us through the lyrics. And he was super hype. I mean, he was like, ooh, he was like a rock star to me. But yeah, those guys kind of pretty shaped shaped
Now,
us.
all three of those guys that you mentioned kind of each told a story through their music.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
my next question to you is from going from those three men to up to date now, do you think we still have that going within the industry or has that just been abolished totally?
No, I think it still exists. I think the stories have become more vast and wide open. We're really, I think people today actually are bringing us directly into their neighborhoods and bringing us into their homes, and sometimes that could be overwhelming. And some people have, I feel like some people have got tired of hip hop. And the lyricism probably took a hit somewhere down the line, but I think the creativity has grown. So if you really listen and check it for stuff, you seeing people really working hard to keep the culture thriving. I think they're doing I won't say perfect job, but it's because it's challenging, and it's a lot of different dynamics in the game. But I do think there's some great storytellers out there right now as we speak, young, seasoned, male, female. So yeah, it's electric, man. It's a place. It's definitely a place in there, but you can't play no games because you will get shredded,
Now,
Word.
I do want to ask you this question. I did have speech from Arrested Development on here before,
Each.
and
Yes.
um,
Salute.
we basically talked about the differences between the female rappers back then versus now. And I want to kind of get your take on it. He was basically saying that, everything is over sexualized now. And that's cool for them. He wasn't knocking them down, but, he wished that more like the Rhapsodies and so on and so forth were more in the forefront more than, the Cardi B's and the Megans. So
Right.
what do you think about that?
I mean, that's a good point, but Cardi B is dope. You know what I'm saying? Cardi B is dope. Megan is dope too. You know what I mean? Like you cannot front. Women are sexual. This hip hop is a misogynistic thing. It has been from the beginning. And it's been very hard for groups like Salt Pepper and Queen Latifah and Moni Love. And Sweet Tea, but they carved a niche because they just as bad as some of the brothers out here. MC Light. You kidding me? Like,
right.
Yo. You know what I mean? Like these ladies, Nefertiti, Lin Q, like these ladies have definitely carved their niche. And I think that the game has changed in the sense where it's like people like to be it's very sensualized. And women are taking advantage of that, and they in a sense where they're using what they have, they're using their God-given talents, physically, socially, and they're making something happen with it. You know what I mean? You got to salute Kim. Kim came out first with that raunchy rap, and he was spitting hot flames. You know what I mean? So it's like it evolves. You can't be mad at the fact that your daughter grows up and she wants to wear makeup. You know what I mean? And she has breasts now. She's a grown lady, and sometimes it's unfortunate, but that's in every culture, in life. I would say that's something that's definitely highlighted, especially since this is a male dominated culture. Like you see now, where a lot of females are running down on Cuomo. Like now, it has its place because you gotta think that women have kind of been in the background for a minute.
Right.
They've been there, but they still have been taking a back seat to the brothers, and some brothers have been taking advantage of that in a lot of different fields. It's sad to say, but it's a long list of cats who have these infractions and just looking at females as subjects of desire and stuff like that. So I say, if you can use that subject of desire and make it dope and make it entertaining and make money from it and feed your family, like, go for it. I salute you on that. Word.
Cool. So what is your take on colorism within the female rappers and stuff? Because that's also an issue in the industry as well. Some women feel like the lighter or fairer skin artists get more put up to the front than the darker skin ones.
Yeah, I mean, we live in the United States of America, right? So it's you know it's a inbred brand. This is a like racism is more than systematic. It's like a pandemic. You know, it spreads like wildfire, and then it's embedded into us. We start to believe these things, but this is not new. You know, this is not new. Like this is in the workforce. You take a back seat, and it's about I like when you have sisters like I can't remember the young lady's name right now, but she did a movie. I think it was called 40 and over 40 or something like that.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her name now.
And I promise you, man, it was I didn't when I saw her, like, she's heavy set lady. I'm not like she couldn't say like do the sexy rap, but she was spitting.
Right.
And she had to break through, just like Eminem on 8 Mile. Like, those are real true stories. You have to kind of like you have to make them see you, have to make them love you. I mean, people are very picky. They're very finicky, especially fans. And you got to put your package together. Hip hop wants to see the package. One thing about Biggie, like, as dope as Biggie is and was and is, he always used to say, like, fat, black, and ugly. You know what I'm saying? He always downplayed that, and which made him even more beautiful. You know what I'm saying? He said, P. Diddy made me pretty. Like, it went from ashy to classy. You know what I'm saying? He says that's about himself. And he broke the racism card. He broke it straight in half, because I could be, LL, sexy ladies love Cool James, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm me. This is what I have to offer, so I have to make this beautiful. And I think it's a fight still with people, because it's once you have to start here. You have to be willing. You have to be have your consonant strong and be willing to break that cycle and go like, yo, I'm just gonna come out and just do this. Like, there's some people out there that's just like keeping it real gutter and real gangster, but then you got to be careful of the carbon copies, the cutouts that's trying to look like, because they think that's what they need to do to be popular. But again, like, hip hop it's always been copycats, but the originals. I mean, salute to all the original ladies out there that stick to their guns. Big up to my sister Star. Star's from Atlanta, and she gets busy. I seen her post up today. She's like, I ain't rhymed since 2019. It's about to be fucking on. You know what I mean? So it's a few out here that's standing firm and affirmative. They behind, natural hair out and on their vibes. And you don't gotta be like, Black Power all the time. And you just, use your femininity to just rock, like, big up to females like Lauryn Hill, like beautiful brown seed. So remember all of those originals that came out and did it. And I mean, once you on that track, man, you just gotta press the gas and go.
Right. Speaking of originals, I want to know how y'all have managed to have a long, lustrous career as y'all have. Because I mean, y'all are still making music.
Yes, absolutely. Big up to my PNC Tech, who's dropping his solo album. I just dropped a solo album called America's Nightmare. In a few blinks of an eye, we're going back in to work on the next Smif-N-Wessun project. I think it's by the grace of the Most High God. You know what I mean? And the fact that we believe in a higher power.
Right.
And we give thanks to that always. And within self, you have to believe in a higher power, whatever your theology is. It can't just be this overbearing. You into yourself, and you just think, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna just blow up, and people are gonna respect me, because you could crash hard. Well, you've seen a lot of crash and burn. A lot of groups, their names just came and disappeared. And by the grace of the people, the people, like, you got to be considerate to the folks out there. The people kept us alive. We came out in the 90s when hip hop was enriching itself. It was a lot of guys, it was a lot of females that was coming in the game, and they was monsters. So we kind of was dropped in the gladiator pool at that time, you know, right 95 when all these guys was doing solos. Raekwon was a solo, Redman, like Mobb Deep. You had some fierce competition. And I think that growing up in that gladiator school taught us a lot. It taught us a lot. It taught us to respect the culture. It taught us to respect our craft. So when we're making these songs for the people, like, try to give them something that you would want from yourself. And being fans of the culture helps a lot too. You know, you can't, like, one thing I don't like about right now, like I hear some brothers go, yo, I don't know who that is. Like, and it might be like Rakim, or it might be like Coogee. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know who the older guys are, who the pioneers of what you're doing. Like, any craft or any work that you get into, you probably should know the history about it, because you might have a better, more rounded way about handling it. So I think between the Most High, the fans, and our love, man, and the fact that we brothers, like we brothers, we started out as friends,
right?
You know, and we didn't let no amount of money tear us up. So give thanks and praise for that.
And see, I was just about to ask you about that. You know, what about, you know, some of these new artists that are actually coming out, you know, not just not knowing some of, you know, the originators and the legends, but downright just disrespectful towards them.
Yeah. I think it's a disservice, man, because it's like your son grow up and he start dissing the father, you know, but then that happens in the household. You know, I remember going at my father once I was 16. I was like, that's it. I'm a man. No more. I'm not taking it no more, you know, and you got something to prove. But I don't think that the young brothers mean it in a totally disrespectful way. I think it just has to be a more open discourse, because the youth always gonna say they got a point to prove. You know, they always want to stick their chests out and, you know, let the world know and let the elders know, like, it's my turn. But I think it should be dealt with in a more positive light. Because I don't, you know, I remember when Ice-T was beefing with was it Soulja Boy or some wildness like that?
Something of that nature.
Like, that to me was horrible. Like like something like that should never occur. Like, that don't make no sense to me. And then, you know, you see some of these young brothers, I ain't gonna name a bunch of names, but I see some of them like going at pioneers on street level and all of that. Like, it takes away the value of who we are and what we have built. Like, you don't see country artists going after each other, going, yeah, I don't like this country guy, I don't like this country guy. Like, they able to preserve their craft, and hip hop is such a large money maker. Like, you can really feed your family, you can really get your moms out the hood. Like, but like, just sidebar, like the sad stories, the tragic stories, like the Pop Smoke story, or like a King Von story, those are tragedies. Like, when you lose those young brothers and they mean so much to the hood, you know, I like the fact that you got a Roddy Rebel and you got a Bobby Shmurda who just came home and they're being celebrated.
Right.
Cats like Jay-Z and cats like 50 Cent is welcoming these guys home, as well as the young cats who welcome them home. Let's just hope that they can stay on the brick side long enough to get their stuff together. You know what I mean? I have faith that they will. But I think it just got to be a wider discourse, man. Like, salute to Snoop Dogg too, because he did something with and Snoop Dogg and like Dr. Dre, when they started bringing in some of the old cats to sing on the songs, having the samples and just using their music, and having these bitter older groups don't feel the respect and love. You just bring them on in and get them on a track, get them a couple of dollars, let them get their publishing, however it goes. You know what I mean? Let them know that they are appreciated. I think that preserves the value of this culture called hip hop, man. We gotta preserve. We can't let it just get like sucked up through a straw like Coke. You know, this shit is valuable.
Now, I do want to talk about, you know, because, you know, a lot of people are saying New York is taking a huge L off of, you know, 6ix9ine and all his antics. And being a fellow New Yorker, you know, it's a little disrespectful, to say the least. How do you feel about it?
Oh man, that guy is a character, man. He's a character, man. I'll tell you that. But he was created by hip hop. Hip hop made him. Hip hop made that baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know guys overseas that's like, yo, what's up with him, man? And this is before I even like kind of like knew about him, really. And you know, he's a it's a tragic story, but it's an interesting story because he has been through some shit.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who's like, yo, I'm coming in the game one way or another.
Right.
And he did it. He succeeded at what he wanted to do. It's unfortunate that when he got with them dudes, and it took like the turn that it took. I can't speak to that, but you know, I guess he felt like he did it what he had to do. I can't respect those snitches though, but you know, he's still out there making noise and coming at cats and all that. I can't respect that. That don't make no sense to me. Like you saying dudes is really getting smeared out here.
Yeah.
And I'm saying even promote that. Like don't wave no steak in front of no pit bull.
Right.
You know, it's wolves and hounds out here for real. And they ain't the rap guys. They don't gotta be the rap guys. It could be the guy next to the guy, next to the guy, next to the rap guy. You know what I mean? Them guys, they don't play them fucking games. Them games is like, nah, son, like I don't like dude. And to bring that type of energy around you when you have the potential to make money and feed your family off of doing this,
right?
It's just senseless to me. I can't respect none of that. I don't. But what's real is that dude wants. This is what he wants. He's coming in the game and he's declaring it, and that's how he rocking. What else can you say? You know, to whoever his fans are, I give them credit, man, because they just like fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, he got a fan base, like it's crazy.
Got songs, you know, he got joints that people like, that people doing songs with him. He got some real valid features, people co-sign and all of that. And it's the fact that hip hop has always been about like doing your own thing. You know what I mean? Like it's unfortunate because his story is like in our face. Wow, like
right.
We have this worldwide web explosion. We didn't have that in the 80s and in the 90s. So you can imagine like how many stories there might have been between artists and entertainers that we never even heard yet.
Right.
We didn't get to see that. We just got to see the poster. We got the poster child or we got to see him on Ralph McDaniels or something like that. And we was enamored by that and we couldn't wait to see him in a show. So their private lives wasn't in the public. You know, you read the rap pages, they wasn't talking about certain things until you see like Dr. Dre got into it one time. I hate to bring up the old stuff, but when Dr. Dre had a little drama with the young lady D Barnes, allegedly he did some stuff with to her, physical stuff to her. Right. So like other than that, you know, I just think that the privacy has become like that. We just don't read that part. Right now, everything is wide and it's in the open and it's scary. It's a little scary because me personally, I like my privacy. And when I'm rapping. When I'm home. Like I like to do other stuff. I like to read. You know what I mean? I read poetry, listen to Stevie Wonder, Rag and Bone Man. Like I listen to different music. I'm not in the crib all day playing rap music, listening to the whole catalog.
Right.
It was Bunny Wailer, you know, just playing Bunny Wailer all day, every day, rockers, reggae, roots culture. I like to be very private. But then when you step out on that stage, it's like, pow, you know, it's like your profession is your profession. And some people carry that. It kind of bleeds into their private life. You gotta be dangerous, especially if you have kids and you have you marry, your family members. You have God forbid something happened to them because you out here wilding in the streets.
Right. I also do want to ask you about, because this has also been like a talk within the whole hip hop culture with fans, even industry people. The whole some of the platforms they feel like, you know, such as like not really World Star, but like DJ Vlad's platform, stuff of that nature. They feel like those type of platforms are setting up artists to incriminate themselves in a way that are, you know, messing up their not only their livelihood but their careers and so on and so forth. What do you think about that?
That's so ill, man. It's a double-edged sword because you can talk about what you want to talk about. You know, if you smart, like why would you incriminate yourself You know, like everybody had these stories they tell in their raps where it's like, yo, I'm keeping it real. I'm not a real rapper. So now after seeing like that whole episode with the hip hop cops and seeing people get ran down and picked off and like literally with a lot of people, like, come on, man, you gotta do your history. You gotta like go back to the Panthers, go back to Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, do the history on J. Edgar Hoover and the COINTEL program. You know, that's still real. Counterintelligence has evolved into things like hip hop police, you know, DAs and ATF and stuff like that. And these guys work together to crush you. They will crush you, and you got to know that. And you out there talking about all of the details. That's why we say news at 11. You know what I mean? Like, you got citizen apps now. Like, you got people, just everybody is a newscaster, and they like, I see the crime, I'm gonna stand here and tape it.
Right.
Call 911, son. Do something. You ain't gotta jump in and stay on some superhero shit, but like, don't stand there and just watch a nigga get his brains beat to a pulp.
Right.
You know? But then it's another aspect of that, like the guy who filmed Rodney King. You know, it's different than the guy who filmed Edward Garner. You know, that guy got ran down on for doing the same thing. You know, and but I think that it's important, if you have access to show something that's going on and it's a violation to human rights, show that. These platforms that Real Brothers in, automatically I thought about K Slay. Remember when K Slay was doing the drama king? He is the drama king. And he was promoting that like heavily, and he was the platform for if dudes had beef with dudes. And you know, I remember going up to his radio station, and we was like, he asked us, we was just having a regular conversation like we have it right now. And he was like, all right, so is anybody out there you got beef with, anybody out there you want to say something to, this is the time to do it. And we all was like, nah, we don't got no beef in the game. We don't got no drama. We don't got no, you know, I forgot Sean Price had said something, but it wasn't beef. Like, we don't have beef. Where we come from, we don't do beef. You know, we like, in that regards, we vegetarians, we vegans. Like, we get our money, we get to the bag, we support our family, we respect the craft. And if somebody got drama with it, we try to handle that, clean that up, and go. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna be out here with rapping on tracks talking about how you this, that, and the third. Because if I see you, it's on and popping. We've been through rumbles in the street. You know what I mean? Now it's like, yo, it's people don't even want to fight. They want to shoot you.
Yeah. And
that's, to me, that's a little bit cowardice. It's even the point where they say fighting don't make you a man. Killing a nigga make you a man. That's horrible right there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like, you don't value a life. You don't value your life.
Right.
Somebody come swipe the rug up under your feet, and you ain't gonna feel sorry. You ain't gonna feel shit. But then the people around you that's claiming that they love you and all of that gonna be losing their mind. You know what I'm saying? You don't care about that. That gotta mean something. You gotta encourage life. But that's just my perspective. You know what I mean? My vantage point. You gotta encourage life. You know. So it's. I mean, I'm lucky that, you know, I'm part of that type of group that ain't with all that nonsense. That ain't with the monkey business. Right. You know, everybody in my crew can fight, and they can shoot too, because anybody could go like this.
Right.
Would they hit some? I don't know. Like, niggas done been in jail. Niggas done fought mobs by themselves. You know what I mean? So it's no, like how you say, it's no strangers to danger. Like, if you scared to death, what you say? You scared? Get a dog. You know what I mean? You scared? You gotta walk around with the. It's intimidating, right? Because when you're talking about how much wealth you have, and you out amongst and you in the jungle, then you might have to get protection. You might have to get bodyguards. Mm-hmm. Some of them bodyguards might be police. Like, when we was on the West Coast with Pac, rest in peace. He had we went out on the streets with him, but we was going to like MTV parties and stuff. There was no hood stuff. We ain't go to no hood stuff. Like that wasn't even a vibe. We not even party dudes like that. When we on a gig, we party, we doing that. But it wasn't no up in the club like the videos and stuff like that. But he had one bodyguard / driver that was Frank, rest in peace. And what's real is that Pac had the hammer on him. You know what I'm saying? When we went inside the spot, he handed the hammer to Frank. He's like, "Yeah, hold that." When he came in, a big 45 T, and we came back in the ride, he know the thing is right there because he is an intimidating individual, and if something happens, he need to be able to protect himself, and not only from the wolves that's from the neighborhood, but from the police. You know, he got cases where he shot a police in the ass. Woo! That's one for the team right there. You know what I'm saying? He walked out of court like George Jefferson on their ass. You know what I'm saying? I be having dreams about that. I'm like, man, I want to shoot a governor. Nah. Pop you right in your butt, man. You need a hot one in your booty, man. Because this, you know, at the rate that police is killing black males right now.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, man. It's like it's with full autonomy, man. It's like we're gonna get away with it, you know. We're gonna get away with it. And like 90% of the time they do. Yeah. You know, it's swept under the rug. That life means nothing. So, and you got to look at United States is made of this racist Republican, whereas you know, associated with gun loving white men, you know, and that has birthed the NRA, the National Rifle Association, and it is legal in many states to carry weapons, and you don't have to have nothing. You don't have to have no formal training. You don't have to go through psychological thing checking you, you know. And then that leads to what? People walking up in the church shooting black folk.
Right, it's open season at that point.
Open season. You got laws like stand your ground, where Jordan got popped because he was playing his music allegedly too loud. You know, this white man's like, yo, how many times we've been in those scenarios where these people feel they could just tell a black man how to carry themselves? Like, yo, that's the privacy. Even though I'm outside in the public, like, and I'm playing my music, that's a cause for drama. You know, we going back and forth. Like you see the guy who shot his neighbors. They just shoveling snow. Like 2 people dead. I don't know. He's either in jail or he probably blew his own brains out, something like that. But what is the end game in that? Like some people are very suffering from this mental damage, and it's being overlooked,
especially in our community. Like a lot of our communities suffers from a lot of trauma that has gone untreated, a lot of bipolar diseases. And, you know, the sad thing about our community is that, you know, we are not as nurturing when it comes to like getting help or suggesting help or therapy or anything of that nature. We make a mockery of it.
That's real. And that's the essence of bullying. I mean, that's that results in bullying. People don't want to be teased. Nobody likes to be made a spectacle of.
Right.
It's unfortunate that we don't have those type of platforms, because coming up, we did have those platforms. Even like a Planned Parenthood, Planned Parenthood had its ups and downs, but at least it was a platform for young women to figure out, you know, how they was going to carry themselves, whether it be babies or whether it's protection and stuff like that. So there are very few platforms that teach you about yourself. Like the
only platforms that we had like media related that was actually crazy was Teen Summit.
Word.
And to be honest with you, A Different World, because The Different World tackled a lot of subjects across the board.
That's real. And as a male, I watched it. I love that. You know what I mean? I love that show. And you're right. Like these images are kind of like they watered down. You know, unfortunate that you have a legacy of, you know, Hollywood that wants less messages.
Right.
And you know, like, but you know, there's things that's still out there. You just got to search. Wow, you got to search. It's like a needle in a haystack. Sometimes there are programs like my cousin has a program. he works with the Brooklyn Combine. That's the name of their organization, and it's basically a corporation of smart men and women. Like, I'm talking about serious boots to the ground, designers, poets, creators, and they're mentoring young youth. They have a program called From Brooklyn to Alaska, where they take kids that's from the neighborhoods, from the projects, and take them all the way out to Alaska, where you off the grid, and now you're doing things like climbing on snow mountains, you're taking hikes, you're going river rafting, you're camping in the wilderness, and these things is like it's broadening the scope of these kids' mind. That's something that's necessary. Sometimes you got to get out of the hood because you don't even know you suffer from PTSD when you live in the neighborhood. You just used to living with pain, you know? And that's one thing I appreciate about rap as well, because rap has a way of telling the story and getting to the source of the issue. Sometimes that gets overlooked, but it does exist. It just has to be highlighted a little bit more. And I think that you know, we are our own media. We gotta take control over that. Like, you want to look good, you want to smell good, you want to present yourself in a certain way. Like, I was in the mirror, like I was like, oh, how's my beard? Right, let me rock my hat. You see me just fixing my hat.
Right.
Let me rock my crown. How I'm gonna look. I gotta look right. I gotta feel right. I gotta look like money, feel like money. And when you feel good about yourself, you do good stuff. You know, you help people. You more compelled to help people as opposed to destroy them. And we gotta have open dialogues like this, man. Salute to you, Jazzy, for even having a question like that, because we also have like these you know, and just going back to the interviewers and people with these type of platforms, like, you got guys who love to talk about bullshit. You know, they gotta promote the BS. Like, I heard allegedly I heard allegedly this, that. They literally sit there and they talk about shit that they don't even know about. They heard about T.I. and Tiny. They heard that this is going on. They heard that what I had heard was, it's no difference than watching the news, because sometimes, like, y'all probably gonna hate what I'm about to say, man.
Speak your piece.
Trump was on to something when he said fake news. Word. He just said it so much that it just sounded, it was annoying. You know what I mean? But he was on to something, because there exists, you got to check, you got to do fact checks. You know what I'm saying? And you also know that, all right, going back to COINTELPRO, there's a thing called propaganda. And you got to realize that some of these people are not only are they opportunists, but propaganda goes back to dealing with Russia. You know, Russia and United States, like, they are like the two superpowers. You might as well say they the two twins that keep fighting all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so you already know the United States is going to use propaganda. It's going to trickle down to us, because we are the babies of this nation, and we use it. And sometimes being an opportunist, and from that you have these culture vultures. You know, which is that underlying thing right there is so rampant. Like, you got a brother or sister that comes out, and like, maybe 10 years down the line, they broke, they don't own a publishing. Some white guy sitting up in, you know, Wisconsin or Colorado got your publishing and selling it for like, he got the rights to your records, and he's selling it where people want to come sample it or use it in movies to tell our story, documentations. You got to pay him, right? The artists don't even get. So that's a culture vulture for your ass. Like, all that other stuff, you know, but brothers don't know. They doing this, they getting their money, they buying cars, they buying jewelry. That shit look appealing to the hood. And it's gonna look even more appealing to a young brother that's coming from nothing.
Right.
You know, so I mean, it's a wicked cycle, you know, and it's a crazy spin. It's enough to make you go crazy. And unfortunately, like, you see a lot of dudes dealing with, you know, the drug culture is like rampant right now. You know what I mean? It's not just like smoking weed, snorting cocaine. Like, it's like dudes is doing dope.
Yeah, like, you know, lean is like the big thing now right now. Like, it's
lean,
like,
and yeah, then you have guys who die from that. And that's not even like, you got dudes that OD, you know what I mean? Or for just one pill too many. You know, I can't throw no stones, because I'm a closet alcoholic. You know, I have my vices. I drink Hennessy probably every damn day. You know, unless I'm like, yo, I'm fasting right now. But for the pretty much like till I'm old and gray. I'm already gray, but till I'm old man Darrell's what they call me. Old man Darrell gonna have a couple of a little splish splash, a little shot in the morning, and maybe a shot in the dark. But I'm gonna maintain my mindset, you know, and I work out. I try to eat well. I'm drinking some infused water, infused with mint and cucumbers and lemon and stuff like that. So it's like, take care of yourself, man. You take care of yourself. Right. You want to live like you got these brothers on the verge of, they already dealing with depression on a high level, and then they're getting served drugs. And it's not only in hip hop. Like when you go to the Bible Belt, when you go like the Midwest, and then you see it's a book called Dreamland, where it breaks down when like when they start bringing the painkillers and into the hood, and it was like it wasn't just hip hop and it wasn't just black people, and you had white people that was literally had injuries and dealing with stuff, and you got all these different prescriptions for them. So they talk about how when it came into this specific town, it was the doctors was down with it. There was the pharmacists, the drug dealers was the guys who was in the pharmacy that was doing all that, you know, that was pumping these pills, right? You know, that was pumping these pills and prescriptions overdose, you know, writing these okay in these prescriptions, right? And all these people just addicted to opiates, and people was dying like at a rapid rate off of opiates. But you're not gonna really have that plastered across the news, and a lot of people ain't gonna talk about it because it affects like mostly white people. You know, but then you have these brothers that out here that's using these opiates as well. That's talking about Percocets and songs. They talk about drinking lean, and they talk about that in songs and popping E and all of that. Like, what that's going to lead to? It's going to lead to some type of ill outcome. Hopefully, you know, you have some individuals that talk about sobriety. Right. You know, I haven't heard one yet. I'm sure some out there, but. Right. It's more fun to be in a party and be intoxicated, especially when you're young and you're doing all of this, you know, crazy stuff. You go back and turn the tables or turn the time back, turn the clock back, and you look at talk about Yale or Harvard, where they was doing experiments with LSD on people. So the drug culture has just been advertised more. Again, going back to propaganda, has been advertised and overly exposed through hip hop. And I think some of that is probably works of double agents. You know what I mean? Right. I'm a big conspiracy theorist, by the
way. Nothing wrong with that. I want to ask you how, you know, Smif-N-Wessun has survived, not music wise, but just the industry itself, because not a lot of people know that, you know, the glitz and glamour, that's all cool or whatever, but there's a very, very dark side.
It's a thin line, love and snakes.
Right. And I want to know how y'all have survived for 20 plus years with that.
Well, salute to my team. I got a very strong, beautiful team of beautiful brothers and sisters that work with us, starting with my beautiful blood, Buckshot, and Drew Ha. You know, a lot of people say, you know, why you got this white man on team? I mean, yo, I don't see color. Like, I don't, that's color does not move me or motivate me to do work with people or to formulate relationships with individuals. You're an individual. So Drew Haas, that's my brother. You know what I mean? Him and Buckshot have an amazing relationship. Buckshot's my brother. I mean, ate food at his house. I know his mother, his father, his sister, his brothers, his son, his daughter. You know, Drew Ha, I know his father, his mother, his brothers, his nieces, his son. We're family. And I've been blessed. Me and Tech have been blessed to have these guys at our back at every turn. From nervous, they started learning the business more. You know, they ran priority. You know, took the bumps and bruises, started learning it more, and Duck Down has grown to a solid independent force. And just to think that both of these guys used to be interns, So with these guys, when you at your weakest, sometimes, you need a shoulder to lean on. They there. Salute to my boot camp clique, because in those down times when it's no shows and stuff like that, and you in the hood and you depressed, and you go back to the neighborhood. If you could go back to your neighborhood, because some artists they can't go back home.
Yeah.
You gotta go back home, man. You gotta go back home. It's like the Mac. You gotta go back home, baby. You're gonna go somewhere, but you don't know where you're going, what you're doing.
Right.
You gotta just go. I believe I go back home. Like, go back 360 degrees back home, and see where you came from. And you got, I was raised in Brownsville, Cephalo Projects. I lived in Canarsie for a little bit. I lived in East Flatbush for a little bit. I lived in Crown Heights for a little bit. So all these neighborhoods, if you love these neighborhoods, they show you love back. So we never violated. We never hung no meat in front of the wolves. We be out there with the wolves. We always show love to the hood. To the hood, always encourage us. Keep doing what y'all doing. Respectfully, they appreciate the fact that we have never broken up as a group. I love that. That was because that's super rare. And we just have a strong foundation of people that's been around us and that's been supporting us since we came in the game.
That's dope. I'm gonna ask you this. I ask everybody this that comes on the culture. What is the best advice that you have received out of your entire career?
Wow. That's a good one. Oh man. I've never
something that stuck with you.
That's a flip. That's a flip right there. I don't know, man. I'm drawing a blank right there. I feel like everything I learned was like hands-on training, but like, just going to the boot camp briefly, like we was training each other, like on all levels. Like we was like, yo, giving people homework, go read this book. You late to meetings, you getting fined, you getting dock money, you getting dock money, and you got to do push-ups, drop, give me 50. So we was keeping fit. We was on each other. Was no slacking. We was drinking, smoking weed and all of that stuff. But it's like, yo, if you mess up when it comes to this thing, drop. You got to get, some type of, we got rewards and penalties. But right. I can say that we lived by a code of discipline, obedience, and patience. That was our thing. That was what a practice that was on the wall: discipline, obedience, and patience. And that's something that I think is a lack. I think is overlooked, underrated. But I will say, one of my brothers, Floyd, rest his soul, he would always say to me, "Don't linger with them, or you will perish."
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
And that stuck with me. Like that. Like I look at the picture and I got goosebumps just now, because like he would just, he would continuously like drill this in my head: "Don't linger, you will perish. Don't linger with them, or you will perish." And for me, that's golden, because you could see where you could get sucked into something and never come back. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Let's flip it. What's the best advice that you have given to someone else?
They call me the good reference. I'm the guy who always having a convo with the young guards. But I always tell them to be original. Don't be afraid to be themselves. And work. You got to work extremely hard. Don't follow the band. Let the band follow you. There's so many different one-liners. I got to write a book of one-liners. Just General Steele's 101 advisory scriptures. But it's been a great ride. Like, just because some of these brothers that I have been sharing information with, they're super intelligent. So it's not just me giving them advice. It's me helping them to see how great they are. Right. Like, you are important. You are important, bro. You important, sis. Like use that to get to where you want to go, and don't be discouraged by failure. Like, don't use those words like I can't, won't, unless they apply to I won't stop or I can't stop or I can't lose or something like that.
Right.
You know.
So I also asked this one to everyone. I'm gonna ask you as well. Tomorrow is never promised, and we all know that. What would you want your legacy to be known as?
Well, I would want I want my legacy to be known as he was more than a rapper. That's one. I don't want to just be this guy who came and rapped a dancer for money. Boy, what I wanna do. He's a private dancer. I want to be known for more than just rapping, because
right.
the rap was the platform. It was the bridge that allowed us to travel the world and to speak at colleges, to bring forth the enrichment of the culture and to share that with people who speak different languages, who live in different cultural boundaries, and who are not affiliated with what we do. And that's a live, like on a large scale. That's like going to like the Philippines and taking a cab and playing Stevie Wonder, and the driver never heard of that. So on the levels, it's showing Black music and entertainers as humans who have contributed something just as pure as gold and coal and diamonds to the betterment of humans, of humanity. Like, I want you to go to your CD rack like you would go to a bookshelf and grab that Roots by Alex Haley, or the autobiography of Malcolm X, or Blood in My Eye by George Jackson. I want my records to be on the shelf for you to access as historical prize, as historical gems, valuable, just as valuable as a Frederick Douglass book or a Langston Hughes poem. Steeping in rap, son.
Right.
Word.
So I want you to tell us what you guys are working on, what's upcoming. Like, let us know. Keep us in the loop.
I just recently dropped a solo project called America's Nightmare Part 3. And I have some amazing features on there. Big up to everybody that contributed to that. America's Nightmare 3 is just speaking about the social, political, the zone that we are in, especially going through COVID and being, and we're all living through this together, right? So I was conceived in 2019, May 2019. I started writing for the project, but the project, the first America's Nightmare I did was in like 2004, I believe. The second one was 2010. It was called Children of War. Right. So I've been like, that's my series where I talk about the atrocities. I talk about the racial prejudice, injustice, police brutality. And I just get real politically scary. So that's hence the nightmare.
Right.
It's an America's nightmare. So can you imagine like going through 2020 and just seeing all of this madness? Like, all of that stuff is in there, and it's from my vantage point. And I speak about how it affects us, and how long it has been going on. Just doing the history. It's a history lesson from then to now. And yeah, it's not for the lighthearted. It's not for the weak stomach. It's getting right to the gut of what we deal with as Black people in America. And again, it's from a kid that's from Brownsville. So, and like I said earlier, going back, you said, well, my top 3, that's why, that's in the vein of Chuck D. I got Chuck D in my bloodstream. Take a dose of that Chuck D. Right. And I feel like a responsibility to have some information. Like, if you listening to something or you're watching something like a documentary or an interview, it should be entertaining, and you should learn something.
Right.
So I'm kind of like a smarty arty with it. And Sean Price used to be like, yo, you all these smart raps, bro. Like, people don't want to hear that shit. just rap, bro. Like you ain't gotta be you ain't gotta be like trying to teach people all the time. Like, yo, me, it's in my heart. Like I'm addicted to that. Like that is my drug. Like when I see people doing good, that's a beautiful scene to me. But you should know the history, you should know the ground that you're standing on. You know,
Right.
don't think don't allow the American dream to blind you. You know,
Right.
I build with the people, man. I build with them on that level on this particular project. And I have like I said, I have some amazing features on here. The original America's Nightmare was created by Spice One from the Bay Area. Salute Spice One. I was able to reach back and get Spice One actually on the song, actually on the title song, America's Nightmare.
Right.
And I got my brother Rockness Monster on the same song. So to me, that's historically rich.
Yeah.
That's like a bucket list shit. Check. You know what I mean? I got my band, my brother Shabam and Bam Sadiq and Louis Skaggs. These are two first generation Boricans, right? Latinx. Like both of them is from somewhere else. You know what I mean? DR, Venezuela. I call them the Black Goyas. You know, but it's like to me that's bucket list shit because I put them on a song called Border Wars, and we're speaking about immigration loosely,
wow.
and taking a page from Sean Price and making sure not to be too overly thinking the issue and making it such an issue like where it's like when you make these revolutionary songs they can be boring. You know, I still want you to be like listen to the joint like Chuck D. Radio suckers never play me on the mix. They just say, baby, now I'm known and thrown on the top of the throne with those shaking everything that the brother on hard. Reporter card. Reporter Chesamard. You know what I'm saying? Who is Chesamard? Who is Joanne Chesamard? Like you teaching you bang, bing. Right. So in the vein of these brothers, that's what America's Nightmare is. I also got my boy Jardin. Jardin was with us from the beginning when we did the remix to Soundboy. You know, he was there in the video. We shot the video for Soundboy. Just a lot of guys. Napoleon the Legend, who's from France, super dope artist. My other brother from France, Ali 45 Scientific. I met him while we was on the Smif-N-Wessun tour. Beautiful brother. One time we was before the show. We was we do a little prayer before the show, right? Smokey Lolly's the prayer. We just grab hands and we do our prayer. And prepare ourselves to hit that stage. And one time this brother Ali came in and he was like, yo, can I do a prayer for Sean Price? And I was like, absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. It was super touching. And from that point, we've been in contact ever since.
Wow.
And I wanted to include some people from different parts of the world to speak to the issues that they have, and not just make it a angry black man from New York thing. And my brother from UK, Iron Braids, the Fly Hooligan, genius, smart brother. Like I met him in UK. Obviously, I heard Iron Braids. I just thought he was down with the Wu-Tang or something like that. I mean, like a Wu-Tang name, right? You know what I'm saying? But he's from UK, and he was a spitter. He was a spitter back then, and he put me on. I was put on to him through Sean Price. Like Sean Price loved this kid. You know what I mean? From day one. Like, sometimes we be in the town, we don't really be talking to people. We just speak to ourselves a little bit.
Right.
We might sign an autograph, get a bit, and keep it pushing. But Sean Price was building relationships with these guys. And so I always remembered that. And and I inherited that relationship. So I felt it was cool to have another viewpoint on a project. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what America's Nightmare represents. It's for the people, by the people, and it had that panther, that memory of a panther. It's like it's about power. It's about power to the people for sure. Now my PNC on the 5th of March it's crazy because I dropped my project on February 5th, and he dropped his project on March 5th, and his solo project, and it's called Priceless. And he's like, he's coming from a whole different aspect. You know, that's why I had to talk long about my project, because I'm like the professor. I'm like you know, Malcolm X, Huey P with it. You know, like it's coming from a different aspect. He's definitely on the street, boots to the ground.
Right.
And I guess he would be like a Huey P. He's definitely a motivator of people. He's called the governor in the hood. I call him the governor because he mingles with all these different rap guys. He got some beautiful guys on the song. Normally, these type of people you probably wouldn't see on a Smif-N-Wessun record, you know. But then we get to branch out and do our own thing, and we get to expand our creativity, and it still fits his character. So I can't really get into all of the details of his. I think he would come up here and you guys can chop it up about that. But yeah, it's called Priceless. And other than that, we have a couple of things that we're doing behind the scenes that's not necessarily associated with rapping and hip hop. But as far as the rap part go, we're talking to a couple of producers. We're trying to see the next project is going to be a Smif-N-Wessun project. Once the fire died down a little bit with our solo joints, we've been speaking to guys like Ninth Wonder. Who else? Pete Rock. Okay. Like these are the two top guys. These like, yo, we got to do a part 2. Monument part 2. We gotta do the all part 2. Like, I don't believe in part 2s. I believe in whatever we come out of there with. It has to be amazing. It has to be a beautiful piece of work, a work of art. So, you know, we're just keeping the relationships crispy with these individuals, and it's unfortunate because COVID kept us home. Yeah. So long, because if not, we probably would have been jumped on a plane and went to North Carolina, and we probably be in North Carolina right now. With Ninth Wonder, and you know what I'm saying. But I think, after these ones, you absorb these 2 projects, these 2 solo projects, and then be on the lookout for another Smif-N-Wessun project. And you, other than that, just catch us in the neighborhood near you. You know.
Oh, that's right. Well, I want to thank you first and foremost again for coming on the culture. One, dropping a lot of jewels tonight. Being open and honest. 2, I want to give you this time to give out any shout outs to anyone you want to give to.
Man, I want to shout out Senegal Smith and Lynn Q, Salome. It's a couple of beautiful sisters. Yeah, this is Women's Month, right? And these sisters are no joke. Okay, and as I look at your artwork, what you call that? Your lower third, something for the culture. As I look at the artwork, that's dope, because
thank you.
It's like they're working on this short film, and I can't reveal the name because it's some, they still working on it.
Right.
It's an ode to women. It's the concept is pretty much dealing with a young girl in the, I want to say 90s, like early 90s, who goes her transition, meaning who grows up in a environment like a lot of females do.
Right.
It's crazy for them because they're not supposed to be tough, but these women are very tough. So they're covering that aspect, and they're showing how a young lady deals with that. And the artwork is artwork remind me of that a little bit. Like, it's a throwback, you know what I mean? It's a throwback, and and it's fun. I think we have to, pay homage or however you want to say it, to the women, because they have always been there, and they have always been support to these men who are trying to look out for the try to follow a successful path. But there's a lot of other people who I would like to salute, man. And I can't get into the names. It's way too numerous to mention. I say I love my mom's because she made me great. You know what I'm saying? And she's a hardworking lady. My PNC salute. You know what I mean? We're gonna ride it. We're gonna ride till we die. My team, everybody, man, just salute everybody out there that's on a path. Salute you for this platform, this intellectual build.
Thank
You know what I'm saying? And being beautiful, man. Stay beautiful because we need beautiful women that's not scared to be smart too.
I know that's right.
Word. I want to big up I don't know this person, but I want to big them up. I want to big up the brothers that played the I forget his name, but the brothers that played the Fred Hampton, the chairman Fred Hampton, and Judas Lakeith, big him up as well because playing the snitch got to be hard. He said he had to go to therapy after that.
Yeah.
So playing the snitch made him sick to his stomach. So imagine a real snitch. Is this like the real nigga? Like the real nigga murdered himself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Real nigga killed it, took his own life. So sick to your stomach. That's an understatement. These are young brothers. I want to give a shout out to the young lady that played Billie Holiday. Ooh, I forget her name. It's like I'm looking at all these young brothers and sisters that are attacking the game, and they are doing a tremendously beautiful job to preserve the culture because these stories are so painful, and you don't even know why is the pain, why it is, because these people are humans, and sometimes the humanity is stripped away from you in this profession. So just showing the story sometimes might give us a little bit of outlook and knowing how to deal with ourselves and our own issues and our own misconceptions and infidelities and confusions, and it's good. Like I watched John Legend, and when John Legend name, when you say what are your legacy, what you want your legacy to be, and we're here to help each other. We're here to promote life. By your name, it says General Steele, artist, activist. You know what I mean? /activist // .com. So it's like let's get up, let's stand up. You know what I mean? Salute all men, women, and children there. Everybody that's support and everybody that's with a heart beating in their chest, man. Salute y'all, man. Stay alive. That's important. You're important. You mean a lot. Word to your family and to the world. So stay alive, y'all.
I know that's right. Well, again, it was a pleasure having you on the culture, and of course, you're always welcome back anytime.
Word up. Thank you. I appreciate you.
No problem. We're gonna see y'all guys next episode. I'm Jazzy J, and this has been Something for the Culture. Y'all have a blessed night. We're out.
Birds.